And it's just basketball. It's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. It is Monday, therefore it is time to give some shout outs to people who gave super thanks throughout the week. But before we do, as always, got to give a shout out to the channel members. Shout out to Gary, Thanos Snap Feminism, Charles Hooker, In the Groove 56, Great Juice, The Real Heisenberg, The Real Siberius, Mary Lewis, Rike, Vernon Lee Warren, It's Not That Serious, Ant Western, Keith Brazell, Chase 1738, Austin Casey, Daryl Stewart, Wayman Earls, Rick Claverly, Papa Yogito, Whizman Ballin, Twin, Dr. Les Barrett, Drum Jackson, Eric C., Snug Chamberlain, Lil A., Peter G., Moti Breezy B., Adidas 20, Verbal Kent, Lil Greg 897, Alexander X, and shout out to the newest member, New Life SR. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of the channel. I truly cannot thank you all enough. And without further ado, my people, let's get into some super thanks about the duck, the deer, the leader of the 4 and 6 kingdom. First up, shout out to the Real Siberius. This is coming from my Paul Pierce. Says Draymond would be an average defender in any other era, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. He comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says Draymond is as tough as wet toilet paper. People like to compare him to Rodman, which I think is a huge disrespect to Rodman and Rodman's ability, and I wholeheartedly agree with that as well. Draymond is nowhere near. Rodman would drive Draymond literally insane. Draymond would have a temper tantrum every game playing against Rodman, not to mention he would be neutralized. Says everyone likes to talk about guarding all 5 positions. But like you mentioned in the video, there aren't 5 positions anymore because everyone plays the exact same. So that is a hollow statement. Draymond couldn't guard a crosswalk in the 80s and 90s. His dirty play would get him sent to the ER faster than he can say he wants LeBron inside him. Being the toughest guy in the softest era is hilarious, especially when you pick and choose who and when you attempt to bully. I would take Rodman at 6'4". I would take Rodman at 64 over prime Draymond. At least Rodman will give his all the whole game. Shout out to the Real Siberius. Yes, this is a fact. I have never seen Draymond press the issue with someone who would actually give him that smoke back. I think I saw like a clip of him and Isaiah Stewart face to face, and Draymond would not press the issue. It's like, you want to press the issue against Rudy Gobert and players like that, press the issue with someone who you know is about that smoke. But of course, Draymond Green will not do that because, as Kenya Martin said, he is a fake tough guy. And yeah, these whole comparisons to Draymond Green versus Dennis Rodman, that is the most ridiculous thing. Like I said, if Draymond had to play Rodman on a nightly basis, Draymond would officially be neutralized in every way possible. First of all, Rodman is a far superior athlete. I think Rodman is definitely defensively smarter about the game. And like I said, and then you just talk about the mental toughness and the mind games that Rodman would run on Draymond Green. It wouldn't even be close. Like I know defenders of the modern era, I know you guys want so badly to have some confidence in some of these players, but I'm sorry to tell you, it's just compared to older eras, what you're gonna have to face is the fact is that not only are the players not built the same, but if you're just talking about society and people in general, people aren't built the same. Society as a whole is softer, and that translates to sports too, all sports. But especially the NBA, where they have had a commissioner who has enabled all the softness. So, yeah, you know, shout out to the real Siberians. Thanks so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel and continued insightful comments. Next up, shout out to the Dr. 3196. This is coming from my Netflix cancels LeBron James docuseries, The Starting Five. So for those who thought it was terrible like I did, well, you don't have to worry about the third season coming, because it won't be coming, people. LeBron James is out of there. LeBron James and uninterrupted, Netflix said, you don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. So he comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, so now every single piece of media he ever made failed. Why the F did he go to LA then? What was the point of all this? Everything he does is a show. Yeah, and you know, and I addressed this a little bit on the Netflix. I think I addressed it also on my video about the latest LeBron James Nike commercial. And I said the reason everything LeBron James does fails, the reason LeBron James can't connect with people is because what Russell Westbrook picked up on is that he's fake, is that everything he tries to present to the public is showing himself with no flaws when we all can see he has plenty of flaws. But, you know, this whole shout out to the basketball show. I think he called it a sanitized image, or something to that effect, a sanitized image. And everything he puts out, from commercials to the docuseries to the shop, to Mind the Game, all of it feels very sanitized. All of it feels very, I'm never going to admit that I struggle. I'm never going to admit that I've had a hard time. I'm always going to downplay that stuff to make it seem like I'm perfect all the time. And because of that, that is the very reason why, while despite LeBron James' best attempt to copy Kobe Bryant by saying, when I retire, I really want to be a storyteller. You know, I want to get into storytelling, and I want to become the best storyteller of all time. Despite his best attempts, that's why he will fail, because he's not relatable, and he's not willing to show the side of himself that people would actually connect to. Again, people connected to Michael Jordan because we could witness the struggle and we could witness him overcome the struggle. We didn't witness him give up. We didn't witness him take the helicopter to the top. We didn't witness him do all these things that we saw LeBron James do and then try to pretend like he didn't do. So shout out to the Dr. 3196. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the real Siberius again, coming through with the $2 super thanks. And this is also from the Netflix cancels the Ducks docuseries. He says, make this exact same show with 80s and 90s superstar. It would be a mega hit. Imagine having over 213 million followers across social media and none of them can be bothered to watch your show. Even your fanboys don't like you. Facts. Yeah, I agree. If you make this, well, The caveat is obviously is someone besides Uninterrupted has to be involved in the making. But you make this same show with someone, let's say Kobe Bryant was still here and got to executive produce, or even Michael Jordan. If someone like this made this show about players of the past, it would be a hit. Let's say you put, you didn't even have to put Michael Jordan in it. Let's say you put Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley and, I mean, just name any number of stars. Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, yeah, pretty much anyone you can name from those past eras where basketball was still basketball and where people still appreciated the struggle. This show would be a hit. But there's a lot of ifs in life, people. And if LeBron James is involved, you might as well get your money back. Shout out to the real Siberians. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to Will for Real Tube. This is coming from Michael Jordan tells us how to be great. I can accept failure. This is what Michael Jordan said. He can accept failure. He cannot accept not trying. He says, love the lean on me opening to your video. Cracks me up every time. No pun intended. Speaking of crack, it is like LeBron fans are on crack. They're just addicted to glazing and capping for him. I'm sure you can ask any fanboy or media apologist, what does LeBron teach, inspire, or set any life lessons? I'll assure you they can't. If they do, it'll be something stupid. You don't even have to be an athlete to apply the Mamba mentality. Exactly. It just shows the greatness is organic, not man-made and thrown in people's faces. That's why LeBron is having a hard time deciding when to retire, because he's being exposed as a counterfeit legacy. Love for the game, my A. Facts, and more facts. Yeah, that's a good point. And I would say that's the thing about the people who you literally call the greats of basketball, is that their mindset, their mentality transcends the game. This kind of goes back to what I was saying. This is why people relate to them. That's because the things that you learn from them can be applied to all facets of life. It can be applied to anything that you are trying to succeed at in life. And yeah, this is what you don't gain from LeBron James. There is nothing that you can gain from LeBron James. First of all, he's not even believable. Let's just put that on the table. I mean, he's a liar and people know he's a liar. So that fact alone already ruins your credibility. He's a cheater of the game. That's another thing that ruins your credibility. And like you said, you know, you can't invest in what LeBron James says, because LeBron James is a do as I say, not as I do type of person. Shout out to Real for Real Tube. Thanks so much for the $5 super thanks. And next up is Will for Real again. This is coming from my D Wade is glazing LeBron James with his latest take on the GOAT debate. And for those who don't remember what his latest take is, he said from now on, to avoid any conflict with Unclutch Sports, to avoid the phone calls that he gets from Unclutch every time he says Michael Jordan is his GOAT, he's going to start saying Michael Jordan is the greatest player he's ever watched and LeBron James is the greatest player he's ever seen. And that is pretty par for the course for Dwyane Wade. But anyway, He says, there it is again, just making up new definitions, new BS, just to sneak LeBron through the back door of the GOAT debate. So watched and seen are two different things now. It's like that dumb comment when old dude said MJ is the greatest, but LeBron is the best. I swear this LeBron excuse making is getting more pathetic and ridiculous every day, and it will continue. Best believe that the ridiculousness will not end for the LeBron James supporters. It will continue. But yeah, this has been the whole thing with LeBron James' career, is that they have had to make up new definitions for everything to try to legitimize him even being labeled great, period. They have had to move the goalposts with everything. They have had to change the standards by which greatness is judged. Heck, they have even had to change the standards by which they judge the rules in the game. Now they made it so that walking and traveling are just normal parts of the game in the modern NBA. And of course, they have had to change the lingo to which they talk about it. Now we get all this stupid stuff like 1A and 1B, or this person is the greatest, but this person is the best, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever I can think of to not admit the truth to everybody that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, or at the very least, that LeBron James is not in the conversation at all. This has been LeBron James' whole career, is making up new things to try to fit him somewhere where he doesn't belong, and to justify his failure over and over again. But wait, people, don't forget LeBron James' new commercial. It said, rejection is the best teacher of all time. Remember that, people. Coming straight from the duck's mouth. So if it comes from his mouth, you are better off doing anything else but listening. Shout out to that, Will, for real. Next up, shout out to Militarized, coming through with the $2 super thanks. This is coming from the same video about Dwyane Wade. He says, to me, there is no debate, because name another top 10 player who had to team up with other stars to learn how to win. That's exactly what is said in the media by Chris Broussard and others. LeBron had to learn how to win. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Shaq didn't have to be taught by another star on how to win a championship. D Wade and LeBron teamed up because they were jealous of Kobe. That doesn't scream greatness. Exactly. That alone. LeBron James, once D Wade decided to come onto podcasts and make it known that you guys were jealous of Kobe, that ended all talks of greatness for the both of you, in my opinion. This is facts. Let me read this again. D Wade and LeBron teamed up because they were jealous of Kobe. That doesn't scream greatness. Exactly. This is competition, people. What are we doing? Says LeBron fans can't name anything he does better, just longevity stats, which never proves dominance. Remember, LeBron's stats should lead to more than accumulated points, rebounds, and assists. He should have more titles to show he dominated with his stats. Right now, he averages one stat title every 11 seasons, bringing him to a total of 2 stat titles. And that's, I think, is what he got: 1 scoring title and 1 assist title. Says, where are the other stat titles for the other 20 seasons? I'll end by saying this. LeBron fanboys, you should be worried about LeBron refusing to retire. There is nothing to say another team will sign him after this season. Every player, every team, every owner, and every fan has seen the antics, and it turns people away from him. Thus, there isn't any owner right now pursuing LeBron James after this season. It might be in the best interest to announce his retirement now before being embarrassed come next season. Hey, this is this is something I would actually like to see play out. I have to be honest. Because I can't take the modern NBA serious, people, I really enjoy it simply for the entertainment factor and to see how ridiculous it can possibly get. And this is another point of interest for me. I'm really curious to see after this season if LeBron James decides to continue his manufactured career. What team would possibly give him, because first of all, one thing we know, LeBron James isn't gonna play under a certain amount of money. He's not gonna play under a certain amount of money. So what team would actually give LeBron James enough money that he would actually agree to? It's really hard for me to think of one team that he could go to that they would be thinking, oh, well, you know what we need? Man, we need a 40-something-year-old star past his prime that doesn't play defense at all, that really can't shoot outside 3 feet, is not a good free throw shooter, and who whines and complains and probably will lower the morale of the team. That's what we need, man. Is LeBron James free this season? Yeah. So somebody call Rich Paul. I can't see any possible team that I can think of that LeBron James could go to that would actually want him. If anybody got any ideas, please drop it in the comments. But that alone would be entertaining, because we might actually witness LeBron James being forced out of the league because nobody wants him. And that, my people, would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. But shout out to Miller Taraz. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to the Dr. 3196 coming through with the $2 super thanks again. This is coming from my LeBron James and Steve Nash asked why players stop playing one-on-one. LeBron James fanboys, do you guys have an answer for that? If you've been listening to your king, you guys should know the answer, because LeBron James told the world that, LeBron James showed the world that competition in basketball is no longer a necessary ingredient. LeBron James has spent his whole career getting beaten one-on-one, according to the stories, getting beaten one-on-one by Michael Beasley and Chad Ochocinco and Dwyane Wade and countless other people, it seems like. And then LeBron James has spent his career ducking competition, ducking certain player matchups, ducking the dunk contest, So why would any of the new generation, if LeBron James has been their model of what competitiveness is supposed to look like, why would any of the new generation play one-on-one when it's a chance for them to get embarrassed and not have anyone to blame? But shout out to the Dr. 3196. He says, it's like listening to an alcoholic talking smack about drunk driving. Exactly. Although I will say, just because you're an alcoholic doesn't mean that you should also drive drunk. If you are an alcoholic, please Uber when you know that you are gonna be drinking. But yeah, it's like those two things are related. Just like LeBron James and him being the face of the league and killing the competition in the league. This is related. So when you see the younger generation being less competitive, well, LeBron James put down a bottle. Shout out to the Dr. 3196. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out to G, the great one, coming through with the $2 super thanks. And this is coming from my Michael Jordan. Tells us how to become great. This is about not accepting, not trying. You can accept failure, but you shouldn't accept not trying from yourself. He says this quote from MJ is inspiring because with it, he teaches us not to be afraid of failure. That is why he is so accomplished. He was never afraid when the biggest moments arose. You can see it in his body language and performance. That is a huge reason why he is the greatest of all time. He never came unglued when it mattered most. He could have easily been 3-3 or 2-4 in the finals, but he consistently made plays in the clutch and his team fed off of his energy. If Jordan doesn't average the most points of all time in 93, they most likely lose. In 97, if Jordan doesn't hit the game winner in game 1 and follow that up with the flu game in game 5, they most likely lose that series. If Jordan doesn't have the amazing performance in 98 in game 6, the Bulls most likely lose that series. Some people think that the Bulls had this amazing roster of talent and were guaranteed to win, but that is far from the truth. Jordan willed his teams to victory in those finals, and a lot of that had to do with his lack of fear. And this is facts, and more facts, people. Michael Jordan said it himself. I forgot what interview I was watching with him, but they were actually talking about his ability to hit the last shot. And he said that it's his lack of fear. He says, other players, the reason that they miss those clutch shots is because they're already thinking about what if I miss it. They're thinking about the what if I fail, but he's not. He's simply thinking about the next shot. He's simply thinking about the moment, and he's simply being confident every time that he can hit the shot. If he misses one shot, it doesn't deter him from taking the next shot. If he misses one shot, in his mind, he's gonna hit the next one. He said this himself. He says, hey, if I miss a shot, in my mind, I'm gonna hit the next one. So this is the difference. That lack of fear, my people, fear can make you or break you. And people carry fear on different scales. Some people carry a high level of anxiety and fear about succeeding, and some people don't carry that. And if you can find a way to minimize that, the more successful you can be. And of course, ultimately, what you want is to not be fearful at all. What you want is to just have a belief that, hey, if you put in the work, then you're going to accomplish the thing that you're trying to accomplish. That's what you want to get to. But shout out to G, the great one. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Next up, shout out again to @WillForReal. And this is coming from my Shannon Sharpe, Platinum CFL member, Platinum capper for LeBron, accidentally forgets and and calls Michael Jordan the GOAT as he was talking to Clarissa Shields about boxing and her beef with Layla Ali. Shannon Sharpe says, but aren't you the Michael Jordan of boxing? And then he tried to clear it up a few seconds later and said, "No, you're the LeBron James of boxing." That was so awkward, people. But anyway, shout out to Will coming through with the $2 super thanks. He says, the natural reaction is usually the correct and sincere reaction. I always felt fanboys and media apologists be thinking long and hard before they make a point about LeBron, knowing they're full of it. Uncommon, you should definitely add that sound bite of Shannon saying that in your video openers. You know what? I just might start using that sometimes, just to remind you fanboys of how ridiculous the people you look up to are. But yes, this is a fact. Is people who cap for LeBron, they always look like they're trying to solve some kind of algebra equation when they're trying to figure out the many ways to describe to you why LeBron James is as great as they say he is. It's never just simple. Again, when you talk about the greats, it's always very simple. And it normally comes down to the competitive nature first, right? When you think about Michael Jordan, that's probably the first thing you think about is how competitive he is, because that competitive fire drove him. When you think about Kobe Bryant, when you think about Larry Bird, when you think about Magic Johnson, when you think about most of the greats, it's very simple to describe why they are great. And then in terms of Michael Jordan, it's a very simple explanation of why most people see him as the greatest, because on top of having the accolades and the accomplishments, he was also the greatest individual player as well, in terms of being well-rounded. Again, 10-time scoring champion, 9 times first team all defense, what's that, 2 or 3 steals titles, and so Michael Jordan, all around player from an individual standpoint, and then has the accolades to back it up. It's a very simple, but whenever you start talking about somebody, about LeBron, it's like, boy, they start really having to deep dive into some stuff that don't make sense. It's like, well, man, first of all, LeBron James came into the league at 18 and had more pressure than any other superstar has ever had. So that adds to it. And then LeBron James, he never had a Scottie Pippen or a Phil Jackson. And then the Cleveland front office, they wouldn't do for LeBron like Jerry Krause did for Michael Jordan. And then he went to Miami, where they were supposed to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but they had minimum guys, which is why they lost in 2011. And then D-Wade got old, which is why they lost in 2014. It's like they have to have so much mental gymnastics to try and make a case for LeBron. It's like, hey, they're fanboys. Don't you guys get tired? Don't you guys get worn out of playing this dance back and forth with just stuff that just doesn't make sense? Again, when you're ready to hop into reality, fanboys, we'll be here waiting on you. But shout out to Will for real. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And last but not least, shout out to the real Siberius again, coming through with the $2 super thanks. Again, for those, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, go over there and check it out. And this is coming from the same video about Shannon Sharpe calling Clarissa Shields the Michael Jordan of basketball before that feeling got in his throat and he realized, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be getting a call from LeBron. I better clear this up. I better clear this up, Skip. He said, that is what they call a Freudian slip. You want to lie, but your brain takes over and tells the truth, and then you have to recover and make it extremely awkward. The only thing that could have made it better is if she stopped him and said, I am not the LeBron James of boxing. I am 17-0. I actually win. And if she had said that, that would have shut the internet down. And I do believe a lot of fanboys would have passed away just from that statement. Fanboys would have been up in arms had she said that. And yeah, that's the only thing that could have made that clip better. But shout out to the real Siberians. Thank you so much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. Thank you to each and every one of you who continue to support this channel. I truly cannot thank you all enough. And as I always say at the end of these videos, my people, please continue to support the content creators that give you the real and honest opinions that are not bought and paid for. Shout out to Angry Old Hoop, Sports and Fitness Rants, Man Down Sports, Sports Tea, Shout out to 93Z, The Basketball Show, The Real Mind Crime, Scap Attack, Uncut Hoops, Too Raw for TV, Ticket TV, and anybody else who I may be forgetting, please drop them in the comments so that people can check them out, my people. Let me know what you guys think about any of the comments left here today. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.